We call it people technology.
Well, 155 for 6 after an opening partnership of 78. Which team is the happier one at halftime? We'll find out on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Riggin for T20 Timeout with Ian Bishop and Deep Dasgupta. We spoke of the huge significance of this game. We spoke of whether we'll see a different approach from the Mumbai Indians. Deep, 150, 160 you said would be competitive. That's what Mumbai have got. Would they be happy with that though?
I said 160, 65. I think another 15 odd runs would have been better because also they've been talking about Dew, as we've mentioned before the game started. So if Dew does have an effect on this game, then might be rather than 10, 15, there could well be 20, 25 short then. But yeah, it's going to be interesting because, yeah, different approach. I mean, the way they started,
Yes.
I think the middle overs, was very, very different, very unlike MI.
Was it the right approach, though, to be a little more circumspect, be a little more conservative? We were wondering whether they'd take a different approach, Deep. Did they? Did you understand it? Do you think they got it right by just taking it easy after the power play?
You can understand because obviously you wanted kind of wickets in hand the last 5, 6, 7 overs. Maybe that was the plan. Also, the fact that Surya and Ishan again looked a little off color again in this game as well. So you can understand that, and also the pitch. I think the pitch was kind of with the oldish ball wasn't coming onto the bat as much. But having
Hmm.
said that, the spinners bowled really well. Both Sunil Narayan and Varun Chakravarti again were very, very good.
Hmm. Hmm. Let's get in Bishop in on this. I hope you're back with us, Bish. Yes. What did you make of that? 155. Who's the happier team at halftime?
As for me, nice to be here again. Sorry for the technical
That's all
challenges.
right.
You wouldn't believe Deep and I have the same hotel. Um, if I'm KKR, I'm not disappointed with that effort. Mumbai started off very well in that power play, but through the middle overs again, which has been a problem for them this season. I think they go at under sevens on average throughout the middle overs, 7 to 15. They were even lower tonight, probably less than 6. And again, at the back end, they made up a little bit, but if you're KKR, you can't be too disappointed. 155.
Were you surprised at seeing this different approach, Bish, from Mumbai? Deep says he understands it, but we're not quite sure that we were ready for this. Mumbai played cautiously after that power play. What did you make of it?
I was hoping it wouldn't have been that way. I don't know whether that was deliberate or just a
Hmm.
lack of form of Surya Kumar Yadav and Ishan Kishan again is problematic for them. And then you don't have Harit Pandya. So while Saurabh Tiwari is there and he's not terrible, you don't have the hitting power. So I think credit though has to go to KKR. We focused a lot
Yeah.
on Mumbai Indians, but the spinners bowling through the middle. Lucky Ferguson doing what he did. Praseed Krishna, I think, had an over or two really good
Yeah.
in the middle there as well.
We speak of Ishan Kishan and Suryakumar Yadav. We brought up their numbers in the pre-match show as well, Deep. Do you sense bowlers are bowling better to these two batters? Is that one part of why they don't seem to be getting runs, even if they've spent a little time at the crease like Ishan Kishan did?
I think they are. I think they are bowling much better, and also I think there was a plan in terms of KKR, making sure that you have enough fast bowling options in the middle overs. And when I say fast, I mean all of them are pretty quick. Be it Ferguson, Andre Russell, or Prasid Krishna. So I think making sure that you have enough overs of those fast bowlers in those middle overs, especially on this surface where there is bounce and carry. And yes, that's what I think that's a conscious effort, making sure that Surya he doesn't play too much of spin. He has to play more fast bowling than spin in those middle overs.
Yeah, it does look like Bish, that these two have built such a reputation for themselves that opposition bowlers now bring their A game against them. Could that be one reason why they've not gotten away this season like they have in the past?
That is how the modern game goes. And if we stick to T20 cricket, we know this that we've had phases where the batsmen have dominated with little scoops and stuff for a few years, then the bowlers fight back, then the batsmen fight back. So the bowlers perhaps have fought back against Ishan and against Sky. What is disappointing me a little bit is that certainly Surya Kumar Yadav, who I rate highly. Everybody knows that I'm a big fan, hasn't found the way to fight back. And Deep made a point pre-show that maybe he has to stop these little fancy shots and all the glamorous wrist work which we've fallen in love with and find a more fundamental method to score because people are bowling differently.
Now, the conscious approach was let's not take the spinners on. That being said, though, Deep, were you okay with how Owen Morgan used his spin? Varun Chakravarti finished off quite early today, whereas he was reserved to bowl a lot more towards the end of the innings last game.
Like I said, I think it was a conscious plan from KKR to make sure that, whether it's Pollard, whether it's Krunal Pandya, whether it's Surya Kumar Yadav, Ishan Kishan, and we're talking about real good pace here. We're talking about even someone like Andre Russell's bowling around 140 clicks an hour. So you've got all three fast bowlers bowling that quick and bowling that hard length. They're not trying to bowl too many Yorkers or those slot balls, but it's like proper hard length, back of that length, quick balls.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, I mean, the plan was, for me, I think that's a good plan to go about.
Mumbai have three good seamers and two spinners that, KKR had two good spinners and the seamers could go either way, Bish. Is that the kind of bowling that could make 150 look more challenging, or do you think this is still par at best?
I don't know if there's any due. The commentators don't know if there'll be any due formation either. But something tells me it's about par on the surface. Now, when you've got Jasprit Bumrah, Adam Milne, Trent Bolt on these types of pitches in the UAE, they can work with it. So they need, obviously, to have the type of potency as they did against Chennai in that previous game, and then the other guys to follow up. Krunal Pandya, not a great wicket taker, and certainly not this season, so he'll have to step up when his time comes. Chahar has been bowling well, so he'll hope that'll continue even on this surface.
Do you see Karen Pollard getting a bowl though? Because without Hardik Pandya, they leave themselves with just five options, and then there's Pollard as a sixth. Bish, you see him getting a bowl?
In times past, I think I had mentioned this in that game against Chennai in Dubai that Pollard can be a nifty bowler in some conditions. I just felt, for example, against Chennai, that they would have loved to have another better seam bowling option, someone that can put a lot of pace or enough pace on the ball. I still think Pollard can give you an over or two. So those Chaha, Krunal, and Pollard will have to be very, very good because Bolt, Milne, and Bumrah are going to go hard.
Deep thoughts on that? Is this bowling attack actually all rounds? Is there a strength to it all round, or is there Milne and looking good, both are looking good? You're not quite sure what to get out of Krunal Pandya these days.
Which is true. How I see it is between Chahar, Krunal, and Pollard, they'll have to bowl 8 overs.
Right.
Mostly between Pollard and Krunal bowling those 4 overs as the fifth bowler. And that's where the opportunity is for KKR. Because the other important thing is, if you look at the KKR top order, apart from Shubman Gill, we're talking about Venkatesh Iyer, we're talking about Nitish Rana and Rahul Tripathi against Bumrah, Adam Milne, and Trent Bolt. So that's going to be interesting. So, it's just that they got to make sure the opening, I mean, as far as Mumbai is concerned, is to get into that middle order as soon as possible, as early as possible.
Okay. When are we likely to see Andre Russell walk out to bat, Ian Bishop?
Nobody knows. Come on. Nobody. There's flexibility in this thing. There's no set order, RK. Come on. It depends
Let's
on the
put, let,
foundation.
let me rephrase. Let me rephrase.
All right.
When would you like to see Andre Russell come out to bat, Ian Bishop?
When would I would like to see Andre Russell bat at 3 or 4 generally in teams that he plays for. No, I'm serious. This is what I would like.
Yeah.
It's not going to happen. I don't even know if Andre is there yet. Whether I've been a fan of this in the past, but I don't know whether he backs a kind of a defensive ability to keep out good balls and not have to swing at everything. So I think his position, in all seriousness, will be fluid. It depends on if they need him to up the tempo or to just finish off the game. I still think the plan will be for the other more solid players in T20 cricket, if to put it that way, to
Yeah.
lay the foundation for Russell to finish the game.
I mean, that he walked out at three deep in that Bangalore game, and the game was done. He didn't need to. It was we're trying to think, we're trying to make, try and understand what that indicated from KKR. And I did the same conversation with Dale Steyn yesterday, previewing this game. He said at three at all points, maybe not, because you don't want Andre Russell walking out in the power play. But anything beyond that, does that make it more, tempting? Likely the plan
Uh,
that KKR reviewed,
Right, but Ron, how I see it is, I think it's always going to be situation based. Let's say around the eighth, ninth, or 10th over,
right?
if I think they will be a little more flexible in terms of who comes out, whether it's Morgan or Andre Russell, depending left hand, right hand combination. I think they might look into that aspect as well. Around that 8 over mark, 8, 9 over mark, if there is already a left hander out there, Andre Russell might go in. So I think there be that luxury as well, to be honest. Like,
Hmm. All right. I can now see that you two are in the same hotel because the Wi-Fi seems to be consistent. Let's get a prediction, right, from both Bish and Deep. Let's go to Bish first. It's a good game to get a prediction from. So let me ask Ian Bishop what he thinks here. KKR to get this, Bish, or Mumbai to defend it?
I think, I don't know what the outcome will be, but I think KKR will be very disappointed if they can't chase 155.
Deep.
I think KKR would be ahead in as of now in this game. They are, uh, but it'll be interesting if there are early wickets. If
Yeah.
MI gets into that middle order early, then it can be a very very interesting game.
It's a big, strong fence that Deep Dasgupta and Ian Bishop sit on. Let me let me get hold of them at the end of the game. Yes, Bish. You need to unmute yourself, man. Yeah, go for it. Yeah, Bish.
What's your,
I can't hear you. What's that, Bish?
what's your view?
Oh, I have no idea.
Get off the fence.
Yeah, all right. I'll tell you. KKR will do this, right? And KKR will do this easy. That's how I see it. It doesn't matter if I get it wrong. It doesn't matter if I get it wrong. No one cares. People come and listen to Ian Bishop and Deep Dasgupta. So we will join them at the end of this game on Maruti Suzuki presents ESPN Cricket 4020 timeout. Do join us then.
We call it people technology.